Bueno, de nuevo, hola a todos. Hello everyone. Bien. Em, para empezar, darle la bienvenida a las charlas virtuales que tendremos esta AI Week, teniendo ayer las presenciales e híbridas más bien. Em, y bueno, voy a pasar a hablar en inglés, dado que nuestro invitado del día de hoy, pues, dará la charla en ese idioma, ¿ok? So, be welcome everyone. Today, Bohdan Khomych is joining us. He will talk to us about Agentic AI basically, and he's our associate director of R&D products. He is working alongside with engineers here at SoftServe in research and development of products in the AI scope and others. So I hope you take advantage of all of his knowledge and experience. So that's it. Please feel free to ask any questions. Maybe he will define which will be the dynamic in that regard. So yeah, um, thanks for joining us again. And please, Bogdan,
Thanks
stage is
for the
yours.
wonderful introduction. That's you set the high expectation, so I'll definitely hope to make everyone excited with today's session. So before we start, I will give also a recap of the quick about me, as Leon already pointed out. I'm I'm leading R&D products practice. Actually, it's not typical to have R&D at service companies, and SoftServe is exception on the market in that sense, I would say, as we proactively invest into the technologies we scout and help those technologies convert into the convert into the repeatable services and APIs for our customers. So that's the ultimate goal, right? My focus area within the past years is on AI direction within R&D, specifically now on agentic AI and agentic engineering. So those will be the two topics we will cover today, and that's how the session names is framed. So if you, let's say, at the early stage of the technology exploration, or you are looking to see some of very, very advanced stuff that is going on in the industry and in SoftServe, today, I think that will be the very good session in that sense. Let me share my screen. And in terms of comments or questions, I am very open to answer them during the presentation, but most probably will be looking into that presentation. So if you have really something that talk, feel free to interrupt. But in general, put them into the chat, and I hope we'll have dedicated time in the end, maybe last 10 minutes to answer those. Right, so that's our agenda for today, and let me show if you see my screen.
We do.
Oh, good, awesome. I see that thumbs up, so that's good, and it's good that you are so active. So please be as active with the questions as well. So as we just discussed, agentic AI for engineering and research, and actually we'll go much beyond the research. We will go to the production. Right? And that's where the complexity face the real world application. So 3 pillars. What is the agentic AI at SoftServe? So first pillar, second pillar, how do we enable AI agents for our core part of the business? What is engineering? And third pillar is what solutions we see will disrupt the market and what solutions do we invest proactively, and learn a little bit about those as well. So pretty much try to cover all the aspects of that. As you may know, there are multimodality in Gen AI and AI agents. Here are just a few examples of what you can achieve, and I really love to see how those type of visualization evolve over the quarter to quarter when new tools are introduced. You can use Midjourney or Nada Banana to make a great image. You can generate the videos. speech already the new interface, how we communicate with all of our devices, and then I typically use it to prompt GPT in most of the cases, and then typical textual modality as well as coding. So those are modalities that frame the, let's say, those agentic world. How does it impact the the industry itself, and what industry says about that? That's a very famous slide, and I think it would. I'm sure you've seen that already for the past day, but it's for me it's so important to recap because we have special vision on that, right? So Jensen told that we are going towards those 4 steps, and the first one table stakes. That's the speech recognition platforms or like some type of computer vision that was a long time before. Generative AI, or let's say positioning of the solution like that, as one was that the next thing. And right now we are on that stage of agentic AI that's disrupt pretty much coding and different type of customer experience use cases. The next big thing in the industry is physical AI. And physical AI is meant the systems, robots, autonomous drives, or even smart electronics or devices that can interact with the real world to bring the value beyond our desktop, right? So that's pretty much the direction we are going toward. And that's a huge opportunity for us as humans and for SoftServe as well on the market. So how do we address that market? How do we see that evolution from the another lenses, another perspective of Gen AI? So first, there were like just foundational automations, right? There was no AI or LLM-powered work, and called that task execution. Many RPA tools sit in that bucket, and that's how humanity automated things a long time before. And then we had the first type of LLMs introduced, and those brought the concept of RAG, when you can bring your data and retrieve those data efficiently. So getting the new way of extracting the insights out of the data. We call that assisted intelligence, right? So to explore the data, you do that much faster. You retrieve much faster in a much smarter way. The second step, that's where most of the organization sits there, who is progressing, because pretty many didn't start that path yet, as the delegated automation. So by delegated automation, we mean that we have some agentic framework, maybe one agent, maybe separate agents. Probably the value of the data insights is realized, so we may consider some fine-tuning using of the smaller models for the better purpose, and automate the workflows end-to-end where it's applicable. All these data instruction or actions with different application are needed. And many AI platforms are built upon that logic. The next thing, that's where the industry is going toward, when we implement the layer of solid agent orchestrations that help to first communicate with each other and decide what task to do, working efficiently in multi-agent systems. It's such a popular term in the market, but we are not even nearby for most of the companies there. And digital twins in the sense of being able to extract real-time data. So not just interact on the database that is dumped per day and then you have the RAG, but also being able to extract data through MCPs, through any other channels in real time. You analyze time series data in real time to do that coordination even more efficient in a synchronized way. And the much future step, of course, is autonomous operations. It's when the certain separate roles are dedicated to that area. And that's we are not even there yet, but that's definitely the ultimate vision. And as you may see, the value that we see right now in the market is somewhere between the number of cases of the assisted intelligence and maybe some delegated automation start in place, but we definitely far from extracting value from those next things. But we need to keep posting and keep trying and keep building, as many companies on the market does. One more interesting perspective is how the capabilities on the model evolve. And here we can see the few benchmarks. On the left-hand side, you can see the laptop with 5090 GPU. I don't have such, but very similar installation at my home. And it may run the models like quantized and optimized on this type of PCs that already has much higher performance than GPT-4o. That means the whole foundational model that disrupted the market 3 years before now can run just on one small machine. So that means a lot in terms of privacy and security that you may extract out of this model. Second part is the benchmarks on so-called SV, software engineering benchmarks. So how those benchmarks are measured? The agents are run upon the just human prepared tasks, either some open tickets on GitHub, or the second example, some real task from the Upwork or similar system, and measure whether they can achieve results that is accepted by the one who accepts pull request. Of course, if it's not another AI, because it's create AI to AI loop. And with all three models, right now in this model 5, that you can achieve in both scenarios more than 45% results. And for SV Bench, this GitHub type of open tickets, it's even higher. So this benchmark shows us how does it disrupt the engineering industry. And on the right-hand side, you can see the another type of agents. That's the ones that interact with UI. And there's another benchmark called digital agent benchmark. So here it's measured based upon different human tasks that are executed based of using, for example, your desktop or your station working machine. And in that benchmark, it analyzes how well you can make an order of the food or do some type of interaction with UI within your computer interface, the same efficient way as non-expert and expert human does. So non-expert humans is still far behind, but you see that we progressing far beyond than that was initially. So 42 out of 72%. So where does it bring us? It brings us that having all of those signals and the understanding of the progress, we as a SoftServe, as you already heard, we are very serious in the way how do we build our capabilities in AI for that domain. And actually, last year we became the partner of the year with NVIDIA in US. I've been actually very much involved into that progress of making us one of the best. So developing proactively solutions. We also take a look a little bit further about within the presentations and showing the customer value while implementing the AI models and other technologies on the one behalf. Another behalf, it's important to be hands-on with technology. Even myself, I spent not so much time hands-on, but I passed the certifications regularly. Even recently, I passed the professional certification from NVIDIA in Agentic AI, and it makes you stay up to date with the technological components. So we have more than 150 people certified, especially for example with NVIDIA. But not only with that, our expertise go broader, and there are only like maybe up to 10 huge technology producers in the world, and some of those are definitely biggest cloud providers like Google, AWS, Microsoft, and in that area we also like have more than 1,200 experts who knows how to work with the cloud and AI technology on that stack. So this is a little bit of background I would like to share, and now bring a little bit more to the voice of our customers, a voice from the interaction with the C-level leadership I see on almost everyday basis. And then bring us to the, let's say, solutioning, right? We see that some of the cases on the market become repeatable, and we realize that for those repeatable requests, we may build repeatable solutions, right? And over the course of past like 2 years, we built many of those. And on the top side, you can see just a few examples. For example, in Gen AI bucket, there is like digital concierge, the avatar that can interact with the humans and be adopted to different type of use cases, or content creators that can generate different multi-modal content just in one pipeline in one click. We have much more complex agentic AI systems. For example, Insights Agent that as a typical RAG process the data, but goes beyond that and do a lot of agentic steps to prioritize the data, to validate the information, and to make it even deeper and with much higher quality. or agents for the engineering that we'll also touch upon. And we see that those solutions sit within 3 buckets, right? So first bucket, that's the solutions for the customer products. Let's say if the customer would like to develop the product, I don't know, like some marketing platform, and they have this marketing platform in place, and they would like to leverage GenAI capabilities. We can use such kind of pre-built solution to accelerate their journey. So they build their feature much faster, or they build their product with much better capabilities. The other bucket is operational efficiency, right? So, and that's very good example where Insight Engine or industrial assistant sits. So let's imagine you have the manufacturing facility, you have machinery, and this machinery produce number of times serious data. Something is wrong, something is good, something happens in downtime. A certain area I need to maintain it. In order to be able to do that efficiently, we build such kind of accelerators that help to interact with the machine, with the hardware data out of the box. So that means if customer would like to get better with the interaction with their machinery, they can use this type of accelerator. And that's exactly the second bucket. And it's not only about hardware, it's any type of function, HR, marketing, whatever you can imagine, that where we can accelerate the time that people spend on the job. And the third bucket, it's more toward, let's say, the engineering. And that's where our those 3 solutions sits, right? Like software development, modernization. We will talk a little bit more about that today as well. And those are important for us as a company to be able to build the solution much faster, because our customers come and say, you see, I read the post on LinkedIn that's 20% of work should be accelerated. But it's not only the LinkedIn, that's reality, right? And certain projects, it makes the big difference, and you make those type of capabilities also pre-developed. So that's the work we are doing with our strategic partners, and specifically with NVIDIA as one of our strategic partners. We take their so-called blueprints, we turn those blueprints into repeatable solutions, and then we use the solutions for certain customer use cases to accelerate the time to market, right? So that's, I think, the important concept you need to know about SoftServe and about NVIDIA, who produce those blueprints as well. Another thing for those who are not aware about the details of NVIDIA, but I see you attend already second day, I think you are, but I would like just to remind, is that NVIDIA has this component called NIM. So NIM is specific container that accelerates the generative AI model, whether it's LLM, image generation model, video generation model, etc., specifically at GPUs. So that means if you would like to use that model as a business, you will have much higher inference. Much higher inference means that you can leverage the existing budget much more efficient. So that's where NVIDIA NIMs brings the value compared to other solutions on the market from my perspective. And that's the way how we typically use and build the solutions on top of NVIDIA stack. But what are those solutions in details? I would like to share you just a few examples that will inspire you and show what is possible right now on Agentic AI market. So first one is the content creator solution. That's actually the one that we presented at GTC last year, directly there, big stage in San Jose. And this is the one where we saw the potential. So many content is multimodal, graphs, PDFs, marketing materials, videos. And in order to prompt that correctly and combine those different modalities to get the output, you need to be a very skilled person. And it's good that you can learn that, but you can also simplify that for certain type of use cases. For example, you can check the content much more efficiently for the brand purposes, or do some kind of let's say, generation of the videos in one click. And we build that kind of solution to help some of the customers, and some of those mentioned there, even with their testimonials, to be able to generate that content much faster for their products. Let me give you an example from the Avery Products. So Avery Products is the company who has the manufacturing facilities that manufacture the labels. Those labels, you can go to the Walmart in US and you will see pretty much on every second product on that's a huge business. And for them, the way their customers design the labels is very important. So they can do that faster, maybe less design skills, etc. So they use content creator to enable their customers who design the labels with this AI solution. So the customer just, choose the reference they like, upload their products, and see how the label would look like on their product. And here is even the short video, the workflow, how what presented that. So users select some certain type of label. After that, prompt the results they would like to get. They can see how the label would look like on the specific product. They can even take a photo of their product and convert it into 3D. After that, they can generate how this product would look like in certain environment instead of hiring the expensive photographer, do the pack shot themselves, and in the end, even generate the video in one click. So those are the capabilities they provide for their customers. I think that's a very great example of the Gen AI in action. And that will be one of the videos that those you will be able to review afterwards the session, but I just walk through quickly yourself. There is also a very great story that they share. I think we will not go into the details right now, but actually this is the Avery Products leader who has been working on that, and he find the work we did very successful. So I think that's available online as well. And that was a very great collaboration between NVIDIA, Avery Products, and also AWS, because this NVIDIA models are run in the cloud. So it might not only run on-prem. Another great example of the solution, more on the, let's say, foundational layer, is a speech recognition solution. Speech is another type of the interaction of the user with the applications. So we build a solution that help first much better recognize the speech for people with kids, for people with speech nuances, or for the kids whose language is still in development process, and apply them for very conversational type of use cases. So agent can analyze the audio, extract the data, and build certain instructions. What is interesting, why we also invest in such type of solutions, it helps our customers to and while running this solution on, for example, if run on NVIDIA stack, achieve much better cost reduction, right? Because if you use something on demand, that you can get pretty much valuable results, and many customers do that. But if you need to do, 1,000 hours of audio processing per day or 10,000 hours, that's where the price difference start matter. Or if you need to run it on device, we have the customers who run it on device, and that's exactly the next example. So we have one of the global manufacturing companies who understand that their employees became older and they want to capture their knowledge, right? So they use that solution and build on top of that the product where they run the model straight on the employees' like smartphones, some other devices in the area, and record their conversation safely straight into the edge about the most critical aspects of their businesses they don't want to share anywhere outside, and convert those conversations into the instructions, and to very strict format instructions that then are used to train or to share the knowledge with other employees. And it seems to be not a big deal, but all the industry within manufacturing is built on those knowledge. So it's very important to be able to transfer them from one employee to another without any downtime for the business, because it's not applicable there. It runs, it's modern manufacturer, it runs almost pretty much 24/7. Two more examples before we go into the agentic engineering from the product perspective. This is the healthcare agentic platform, so-called, and that's another solution we've been working on, because for SoftServe, healthcare is one of the biggest part of the customers in the world, and I think that I'm very proud of that, because being able to take more time to save lives than the fill forms, as you see in the headline, is probably the the ultimate goal that we help to achieve our customers. And having the agent in the operational process for the doctor is so important. Of course, it's heavily regulated area, but you can achieve the 25% saving per one processing task. And if every clinicians or the clinicians like the nurse or medical employee can free up 1 hour on their day to do much more valuable work instead of just filling the form of the patient, and agent can just extract the data from the medical forms of the patient instead of nursery go through each and every page and try to find that specific description of the disease that was previously. They can just analyze that based on the context conversation, or they can chat with the doctor and the patient, and it will automatically fill the forms, or it will help to use the AI models that will help to prescribe the necessary dosage, and the doctor can take this recommendation into the account. All of those components are very important for healthcare customers and go beyond that. So yeah, in the med device manufacturers, life science, there are a number of opportunities where this solution can be used. And the last but not least is another trend, because all of those solutions represent certain trends. Another trend that I see is the AI models on device, right? So we're still at very early stage as an industry in that sense, but many device manufacturers see the potential that many loads will be running straight on the device, maybe on the smart glasses, maybe on the phone, but maybe on the cameras that is part of your, I don't know, installation in the meeting room. Whatever scenario it is, being able to run those models on device is very important. So what we are working on is to develop the solutions that will be able to run those LLMs, small LLMs, actually very, very small, alongside to other AI models straight on the device, that reduce for the customer significantly the bandwidth and the cost that they need to run for the data and AI processing, as well as the combination of those with local zones, because in modern world the latency is important. So if you would like to take your AI glasses, I have in mind one smart glasses that I use every day, like for example this, like Meta glasses, right? And if you would like to run that, go to the store, and that will be actually the next example, and be able to pass through the shelves and choose the right product. You need AI to work very rapidly and almost in near real time. In order to achieve that, you need to run certain models in cloud still, and cloud might not be close to the glasses, so it causes the latency. So here we're also working on the novel solution with our partners like AWS that helps to run those models in local zones, the zones that are very close to the customer. And pretty much many providers suggest similar type of options, but I think that's a very good example how you can bring AI much faster into this new real-time device cases. So pretty much like the ones that were presented by Meta 2 weeks ago, their Meta Connect, if you have been watching that, where they have been failing a couple of times. So was the demo, of course, but that was real, right? To achieve this real-time interaction, that's very important. And here just also one inspirational story how it can be used that we are working on as well. Imagine you pass the shelves in the store and you have the recipe that you need to cook, and being able to do that efficiently, right? Typically, you need to know the layout of the store, where to go, which item has the promotion per your personal card. There are so many things. And imagine you can bring those capabilities to the glasses. So you pass the store and you have the ingredients for your carbonara, and then the model helps you to find the product that is the cheapest based on your discounts, personal discounts that you have, or to help you to find the right product on the shelf itself. So that's very great example where the on-device models and this near cloud capabilities are very, very important. So I know that this is the only scratch of the surface. So from the solution perspective, I encourage you to, we have such a portal called Gen AI portal, where we share all of the latest and newest type of solutions. So you even can try and explore them yourself. I encourage you to visit the Gen AI portal and take a look what else is going on in the industry, and what you may find useful, inspirational for yourself or for your customers that you're working with. So that was the part of the solutions based on the market trends we get. But there is one big market trend that we get every day, and that is using AI agents for the engineering itself. And engineering is, it's bread and butter of our business. So that's why we put extra efforts and extra minds to be able to do that much better than all the other competitors on the market, or bring our differentiators. As was mentioned, there are those three trends, right? And we just already touched upon that: product, operational, and development. So development sits in this third category, right? That's we call agentic engineering. And the product and the solutions that we've told, they're sitting more in the, as I mentioned, product features or internal operational efficiency. And here are just a few customer examples to that. So what is the agentic engineering specifically? That comes with two things. First one, introduction of the new role. We understand that you can't just in one day change the way you work and set up and learn new tools and set up all the processes. It's just high demand task, considering that you probably have 100% of involvement. So that's where we pilot new so-called agentic AI lean teams, where the new role that is introduced is called intelligence engineer, compared to the traditional team, right? And of course, there is the matter of the structure and the size. The teams are augmented with the agent, but intelligence engineer itself plays the role of the engineer who set up the agents on the project, who customized based on the specific project needs, and maintain them along the existence of the project, ensuring that it brings maximum possible value. And that is very expensive, very important skill, right? Because you need not really be like front end, a full stack engineer, right? But in order to leverage those tools efficiently on behalf of the team and maintain those, you need to know AI skills as well. So that is the new role we see that significantly emerge, and we see that they transform all the phases: planning, design, typically, right? Number of those. I'll give you a very good example in that sense from one of our type of projects called modernization projects. So here just a few... Yeah, Oscar? Do you have a question? I hope you just unmute occasionally. If you have a question, feel free to put it in the chat. So modernization agents. So let's say customer would like to, develop the new application based on existing one, replatform application, the refactor application, move to the newer language, or in the end, just maintain the code with all the issues and small fixes that happens. And that's where this kind of modernization type of agents that we are working on brings the value. For example, you can use the agentic AI tools, whether that based on the cloud tools from Google, NVIDIA, like as our partner especially, right? And or whether it's based on the some proprietary tools like Cursor, Windsurf, etc., or whether it's based on the just LLM model. You can set it up in a way that it will help you to translate the code much more efficiently instead of doing this translation manually, giving the code style, instruction, the reference architectures that you want to achieve, and using this type of code conversion agent archetype. Or let's me give another example, testing, right? You would like to write the regression tests, or let's say some type of UI API tests that typically is the struggle on many projects, because you need the test cases to produce the quality product, software product, and typically that takes comparably high amount of time. So if you can do that much more efficiently, that means that you can save time and money, and you can increase the quality of your product. So those are the archetypes we develop internally at SoftServe to be able to leverage them for different customers and accelerate their agentic engineering enablement process. But we know that there are no t-shirts that fit every size. That's why we take all of those different, let's say, accelerators and solutions, all the proprietary tools and kind of different frameworks from our partners, and bring it into the one agentic platform, a so-called agentic SDK, where the agents can interact with each other and user can seamlessly leverage whatever tools they want to achieve the final result. And that helps them to build new agents faster, to integrate our agents quicker, and to integrate it with any type of proprietary tools that they want. But some even t-shirts are very, very repeatable, even though they are rare. For example, if you need to create the Android app out of existing iOS application and do this kind of migration, or let's say you want to modernize the C++ code to move it into the cloud, probably we already had the solution for that. And that's what is part of such kind of agentic platform, reusability of already used knowledge to accelerate the time for our customers. And here, just a few stories to prove that it works in action. For example, this the UI generation agent that was used for 2 different customers. You can see the complexity of UI, different type of interactions that might be just by matter of the UI design be kind of assumable. And in most of the cases, the customer wants to speed up the development process, and the project were not really so long, so either 2 or 3 months. I tell always that the longer the project, the better value you can extract, because the higher repeatability you have. But even in such short cases, we see that in one project, the team that used the agent was able to deliver UI that was generated with the test cases generated on top of that based on the requirements that were greeted with the high quality, been able to achieve 70% reduction in time. While, for example, for the more complex project with the shorter term, for the commercial dashboard creation, for the retail estate company, it reduced much less, but it still brings a significant value compared to the investment that is needed to customize the agent. Another part, as I was mentioning, is brownfield, when you don't develop something from scratch, but let's say use the existing solution and build on top of that. And here are also 2 examples to give you an inspiration. On the left-hand side, you can see the migration of some seismic pipelines from the energy domain to the cloud. And in that scenario, there were a lot of C++ code written by the scientists, and it should be significantly refactored before it moved to the cloud. So here, with the investment needed to do that work of customization, the team were able to achieve the 50% of time acceleration, but only 33% of the cost reduction. And it's still very, very good result, because on the scale of the project that lengths like 5 months, it brings the difference, right? And the other side, of course, the coin is Generate API. Generate API is also a very popular case, that's to generate API or to generate the API test cases. All of those is significantly time-consuming tasks. And if you can do that with agents, that would be very, very preferable. For example, we had a customer who has 2,000 endpoints to generate, and they used agents to reduce the time for that significantly. So before we go into the, let's say, some logical conclusion and questions, I would like to share with you example of such an agent in practice. This agent called maintenance agent, and that's specifically focused on the works that you need to do when you kind of get some issues in the Jira and then need to do certain type of troubleshooting or implementation. And it helps to do that process of end-to-end tickets resolution over the pull request much faster. So I'll share my screen, and just let me know if you would hear the sounds. I'll try to make the process smooth for you. Give me a moment.
The process begins with a Jira ticket containing a description of the feature or issue. This ticket may also include attachments, detailed requirements, or links to external documentation. The ticket is then moved to the in progress state. Upon detecting this status change, the requirements agent collects all relevant information from the ticket, such as the description and attachments, and extracts key details. It then sends a request to the architect agent for additional context from the codebase. The architect agent analyzes the request, compares the information with internal architectural data, and identifies the files most relevant to the query. After filtering, it examines these files to formulate the most accurate and helpful response for the requirements agent. Once the architect agent's findings are received, the requirements agent may follow up with additional questions for further clarification. Based on the clarified information, it then determines the likely root cause of the problem. This root cause analysis includes a detailed issue assessment, implementation recommendations, an implementation prompt, a structured instruction set that can be provided to the implementation agent for code refactoring. For implementation, various market tools can be used, such as the SoftServe coding utility tool, SSCout, Claude Code, Codee, AMP from SourceGraph, or GitHub Copilot. The implementation agent applies the changes, executes tests, and prepares a pull request, PRI, for submission. This is how Agentic AI streamlines the journey from a Jira ticket to a fully tested, submission-ready pull request, saving time.
So I hope it gave you this idea how that may work with this specific example. I really like that example because it seems to be so practical in many cases. But as it's like some feature development, but or the troubleshooting of the bug submitted by the QA. And it just gives you an idea how different combination of an agents can work together to be able to achieve that end-to-end result. And that's where this intelligence engineering role and part we see make the real difference to be able to do those type of things efficiently. So yeah, so this is my intake on the agentic engineering and the agentic AI in the domain, and from what we see at SoftServe as of now. I hope that brings you the fresh perspective of how do we look at the market, and give you some inspirational cases where that already makes a difference. And we'll be happy to answer your questions, if any, to this topic. And I see the Leon also already unmuted.
Thank you very much, Bohdan. Thanks, everyone. Maybe anyone have some questions? You can write it in the chat, or just you can say it unmuting yourself.
As we are heading toward the end, and just also the thing that I would like to highlight that I know that right, Ellen, you have here both external and internal audience, not only SoftServe, right? Awesome.
Yeah,
so
yeah. In fact, we have.
Yeah,
sorry,
go ahead.
we have a lot of external people here. It's not just internal, as you say.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I would like to make this quite diverse. And what I would like to share that, within those two directions, we see that that the market is growing, and we're constantly looking for the best talents who can enable those transformations for our customers. So in my team, we have like 17 roles open as of today. So if you will be looking for working in the direction of intelligence engineer and agentic AI in engineering or a product manager or testing role, just don't hesitate to explore those opportunities. All right, I see that there are a few questions in the chat. Carlos asked, is there a Jira to pull request approach in production? Is it a POC? Carlos, very great, a very good request. That specific was just a video concept that was recorded for one of the customers. While when we implemented with the customers, and you have the customers who have this process in production, fully end-to-end, they just leverage the different type of tool stacks. For example, one of our customer is using the Devin as an engine for this process, while we build the customization to ensure that it goes end-to-end, it's capable to process much more tools with all necessary connectors in place. This archetype of the agent, I would say, is pretty valid. But there is also the limitations, right? Obvious limitations are that some of those type of cases that might be resolved that way might not be all. Some of the cases you can just get really thoughtful analysis, but you can just resolve that with the out-of-the-box tool because it's require number of steps to be planned and confirmation to be done. So I think that this is the obvious limitation that comes in place. But if you have number of cases like that that repeats from time to time, for example, you get some logs errors and issues submitted as a ticket, and those types of issues might be repeatable. That's where this concept and approach of Jira ticket to pull request works pretty well. Good. Another question from Javier. If hope I'm correct with pronouncing the name. Thanks. Do you have any feedback to or KPI performance on post-implementation using Agentic on SDLC compared to traditional? Very great question. Thanks for asking. Yes, we do have the KPIs, and those KPIs are of two types of KPIs. First one is the traditional SDLC KPIs, and it's probably not the a lot of companies try to measure their KPIs on the number of generated code lines, and then I would like to share, as for me, as the false approach, because number of code lines doesn't represent the quality of the output. So we measure the very similar traditional SDLC performance, like number of pull requests, the number of resolution, and the successfully accepted pull request, etc. So over the implementation of the agentic approach, we can understand how does tools affect those key capabilities. So that's the one type of performance indicators. Another one is the AI specific, right? And depending on the tools that is used and the maturity of the customer, it starts from the KPIs like number of use of the tool within the day, the number of requests generated with the tool, where you can see whether the tool is in usage. Yeah, I see that you don't share the screen feedback form. Thank you. And this starts with this tool usage part, and goes down to a much more specific tools KPIs that we can analyze. For example, the number of the time of thinking of the model, or more specific AI model metrics that we can track to ensure that it doesn't go in the loopholes, or it produces the relevant outputs. And those are the type of KPIs that, for example, tools like Cursor deliver as a part of that enterprise setup, right? So we analyze both, and having both of those in place, you can already get pretty good idea of whether the team is successful or not successful with usage of the tools. But then if we come with the enablement component, so enablement is very important, because if you just use, but that is not used efficiently, and there is no correct prompts, flows, and integrations in place, most probably, yeah, there is area to make even to make it even better, extracting more value. And I see that there was the question regarding the yesterday talk, but it's more about I want to answer that he already did.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, we will publish the recordings after the event finishes. Maybe next week. I hope next week we will publish them. So yeah. I don't know if there are any more questions.
I think you're pretty much there, and I just encourage, if there will be any more questions, don't hesitate to just reach out to Leon or to me. even if you're external, directly on LinkedIn, we'll be happy to share some insights on that. And oh, I see that there's one more question, so let's take it as the last one, Leon. So because it might be continuous process. So Diego asks, is there a guide to get started with the creation of an AI worker? Is there a guide? I think that's the question probably directly to me. I'm not sure if it's in the chat, but Diego asked myself this question. So I would say that yeah, you can get started with the AI workers creation. We have the different courses provided by SoftServe University on how to enable AI agents in your work. So if you're interested, also feel free to reach out to Leon and the team. They can really guide you throughout those processes. And we aim to make even more in the next year. So that will be more diverse, complex, and I hope interesting for you. So yeah, that's it. And one more time, thanks for your time, all of you joining today, and hope you enjoyed the session.
Thanks, Bohdan. Thanks, everyone. Here you have the feedback form, so please fill it so we know how can we do better next time. However, this was a great session from Bohdan. Thanks again. And I'm inviting you all to join our following sessions. Tomorrow we will have Dmitry Minochkin, or it will be also in English, this session. And in the afternoon, we will have also talks all day from Tuesday to Thursday. They will be in Spanish. So here you will find material for everyone. So I think that's it. Thanks everyone. Gracias a todos. Nos vemos entonces en las próximas charlas y espero que estén muy bien y que le saquen mucho provecho a esta AI Week. Nos vemos entonces. See you then.
Bye.
Bye.